Hello everyone, in this episode we're going to talk about a film from 1963, King Kong vs. Godzilla. 1 hour and 37 minute action adventure, released June 26, 1963 in the USA. Here's a storyline. A UN reporter broadcasts a report on the appearance of a prehistoric monster that emerges from hibernation, while a pharmaceutical company seeks publicity with a monster of their own. This would be the U.S. version. Directed by Ishirô and Tom Montgomery. Alright, folks. I remember seeing this back when I was a kid on TV. And back then it was cool. I mean, it still is today. But you can really tell, that there's people in suits. It really shows in this one. I don't know how to take this movie, really. Is it supposed to be serious, or is it supposed to be funny? I guess it's supposed to be serious, but it is 1963, so technology was quite different back then. I did read some backstory on this movie, which we'll get into a little bit later, but the story goes, it starts off with an UN reporter stating that Godzilla has appeared again, and there's a guy who owns this pharmaceutical company. He wanted a monster of his own, so he sends his two guys to this island where King Kong is. And there's some kind of berry juice that is so tantalizing, so good. So they sent these two guys there, and they all think it's a hoax. There's no monster here, da-da-da. Well, a gigantic octopus it crawls on land because he wants the juice. It's really strange, but it's also cool, too. And, well, guess who comes to the rescue? King Kong. Now, when you watch the King Kong version from 1933, the King Kong looked way more, scary, if that's a word you can use. This King Kong, it's weird, because it has a weird face. I don't know. I just couldn't get past the King Kong. But eventually, they take the King Kong and they try to bring it to Japan. Well, King Kong gets loose with the help of the people on the ship. The Japan government says you're not bringing this monster to Japan, so forth. Well, the first time that King Kong and Godzilla fight, it wasn't much of a fight because Godzilla kind of cheats because he has that beam that comes out of his mouth. So King Kong wanted nothing to do with it, and he walks away. And, the story proceeds to go on, and, Godzilla does his thing, destroying Japan. And then King Kong is like walking, smashing, destroying Japan. Then they meet again for that second battle. Now here's where it gets very interesting. When there's a fight scene between Godzilla and King Kong, okay, the actors that are inside of each costume, they actually did some martial arts to make it, it's really strange. I'll read to you what it says. In the fight scene when King Kong throws Godzilla over his shoulder, suit actor Shuichi Hiroshi didn't throw an empty suit, but actually threw it with Hiro Nakajima still inside, as this was Hiroshi's way of proving he was stronger of the two. This move was one of the many martial arts influences in the fight choreographing, since Godzilla's suit actor Najami practiced judo and was given the opportunity to choreograph the fight. So basically what's going on here is, it was obviously two actors in each suit, and they decided when you did the fight scene, it was kind of comical. When you watch them fight the second time, I'm not laughing to make fun of it. I'm laughing to make it, because it's funny. I mean, it's not supposed to be, but it's cool though. It's just weird how they brought these two together in this movie, because I don't know. It's just weird. But that being said, it's still fun to watch. You had King Kong, who had the one girl in his hand, and he drinks the juice, and that's how he falls asleep. And then he pick him up by balloons. Now, there's a goof in here too. I don't know if you noticed it. It's when it was being hauled by the balloons, his right leg is twisted around painfully and sticks out of him at an odd angle. Then when it cuts back in again, the leg is normal. It's just typical. There's a lot of goofs in movies, but I'm not bringing this up to make fun of it. I'm just bringing it up because it's quite funny. Anyways, yeah, it's King Kong versus Godzilla, and then all of a sudden they fall into the ocean, and then the fight's over, and the movie's over. I don't exactly know what the purpose of this movie was. I mean, it really had nothing to do with any of the other Godzilla movies. I guess it was just a tension getter. I mean, compared to the King Kong versus Godzilla, the new one today, it's way different, and wow, quite a difference. Now, mind you, this is 1963, obviously filmed in 62, so technology wasn't quite there, but I appreciate the effort because it's a fun film. So if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. King Kong versus Godzilla in 1963. Yeah, it's Godzilla does his dance, and King Kong's pounding his chest and fighting each other in martial arts. It's just quite interesting film. That's all I got to say. That being said, this is Gruesome Herzog. I give this film a 6.5 out of 10. It's watchable. It's quite interesting and sometimes quite goofy, but it is what it is. This is Gruesome Herzog, and I'm out of here.